We are at the Woolpack complex in Cambridgeshire and we are on Lake 4. Lake 4 you can book at exclusively, and that is what we're going to do this weekend. We're going to have a little bit of fishing, a little bit of food and enjoy ourselves trying to catch a few fish. Now, I've had a good walk round and there seems to be quite a few fish in the top left hand corner. So without further ado, I just want to get sorted, get round there and see if we can catch one early doors. It's right on where I want to cast. Look at that one out there just showed. Well, it's quite evident that there's quite a few fish in this little corner where there's a bit of weed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a little long chod, 3 of them, little single hook baits, no bait, just a little 1.5 ounce lead, as less disturbance as possible, try and nick a quick bite. Give it a couple of hours. If we don't have one, then we'll rethink the situation, may introduce a bit of bait, may try and find some other spots. But for the moment, I just want to see if I can nick a bite, get these little long running chods out, and yeah, see if we can get one soon. Mate, I just spooked it. Look, I just hit it. I just hit the fish. Did you see that? We're on it, that is. Got bite written all over it, that. Well, we're all sorted. All 3 rods are out. I've put singles out. I haven't put any bait out. I've seen the fish, they're still in the area, but it's a little bit shallower than I thought it was going to be out there. I'm not getting much of a drop, hence why I'm fishing 3 chods, long chods on each rod. But I'm fishing. Tonight's going to be a bit of a learning process, I think. I'm going to stay up quite late, try and figure out where the fish are, and it's going to be warm again tomorrow for this time of year. Even though the nights are drawing in really quickly, it's still warm during the day. So I'm hoping if I don't see anything tonight, the fish are going to move in the early hours of the morning, and that's when I'm going to have a chance of a bite. If nothing happens, then I can put everything on the barra and we can move around the lake, stalk one out the edge or fish a different area wherever I see the fish. That's the beauty of having a couple of nights fishing. You can treat the first night on a new lake, because I've never fished it before, as like a learning process, and plan for the next day to get on the fish, get up early, stay up late and get on them and try and reap the benefits of that. But for now, we're going to kick back, I'm going to get the cob on, and we're going to have a lovely barbecued ribs, sweet corn and lots of other different bits and pieces, and enjoy the evening, kick back and enjoy ourselves on Lake 4 at the Woolpack. When we got here earlier on, I walked past this particular little outcut of the swim on the lake, and this spot was glowing down there. It's only 20 yards up from where I'm fishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on it all weekend in the daylight hours, introduce a bit of bait on there now, keep checking it, and then if I see anything on it, it may give us an opportunity to nick one over the next couple of days. Good morning. Well, I'd like to say it was a good morning, but nothing really materialised last night. The plan didn't go quite to action, although I did hear quite a few fish up the other end of the lake, just where it juts out. One of the reasons why I think it hasn't gone to action, to plan, is that we had a really heavy fog this morning, like freezing fog. Temperatures dropped a little bit, and it's usually the kiss of death. And as we're fishing a shallower area where I see the fish yesterday, they just haven't come back in. I mean, it's late morning already, and I've got to have a bit of a plan of what we're going to do. So I'm going to wrap up, get everything sorted, get round along that bank, try and find some spots where the fish were showing last night and this morning, and maybe introduce a bit of bait as well. Put some boilies out to try and attract them down onto the areas. So I'm going to get sorted. I'm going to reel in now, pack up my kit, bow around there with a new plan. Well, we're finally round here, all set up. I've had a little bit of a lead around out there, and I've found a couple of nice little areas, which is sort of like hard, smooth silt. So I've taken off the choddies, and I'm going to fish 3 slip Ds, 3 different hook baits. I'm going to go with, because there's quite a few tension here, I'm going to go with a tiger nut topped wafter, XXX wafter on one rod. I'm going to go with a XXX wafter on the middle rod, and that's topped with a little Northern Special Mini. So I have 3 different hook baits, trying to combat the tench, but also, I mean, it's such a good bait this time of the year as we're going just before winter with the fish meal XXX and GLM. It's going to attract them carp into the swims, and I'm going to spray a few baits around. I'm not going to spod. I'm just going to spray a few different size baits, a mixture of baits out there, the lice system and the XXX. Then hopefully let the swim settle down a few hours before dark, and hopefully the move would have paid off. Oh, that's on the money, that is. Went down lovely. You may have noticed in the videos that I've done that I use a leg core leader. Reason being for that is the benefits of it, it pins everything to the bottom. It's anti-tangle as well. And also you may have noticed is that I don't use a splicing loop like most people do. I use something called a needle knot. Reason being, if I lose a fish, there's a lot less friction for that top bead to pull off. And how I go about tying it, really simple. At the end of your leg core, so I take 2 to 3 inches of the lead out. I use a splicing needle to go up through the material to the end. I pull down the end of the material and I get a lighter and I burn it. What that does is that seals it, so there's no fraying at all. Then what I do is I pull down my braid or my mono or fluorocarbon, I pull it down and I do 4 turns down, 4 turns back, wet it, and I put the end of my main line straight through the loop that I've created, pull it tight, wet it, bed it down, and there you go, that is your leader knot. Thought I'd take 5 minutes out and just go through my sort of baiting strategy, liquids, bait I use this time of year. We're in autumn, we're coming into winter soon as well, even though it's quite mild for this time of year. and I particularly pay attention that I mix in my summer, autumn bait with my winter bait. So as soon as it gets around about 10 degrees, the water temperature, I start to go over to like the live system. Up until then, I'm using triple X. Been using that all autumn, all summer, all spring. Had some really good results in it. I mix the two together. Size 18 millers, because they're right on the feed this time of year. And I mix 2 liquids. Liquid liver, it's a really thick, full of nutrition liquid, but it's very thick. So I mix hemp oil with it, which is a thin liquid, again, highly nutritious. Mix the two together and it sucks into your baits that you're using. Plus, what it does is a bit of a haze of the liquid liver up and down the water column, and the hemp oil complements it. That's up and down the water column. So any fish in the area you're trying to pull down to those gravel spots or silt spots, it's going to be working constantly up and down. So I prepare it about a day before so it all soaks in, and then I fire them out at a wide spread of the area of the Triple X and the live system with those 2 liquids, and jobs are good, and I've had some really good autumnal early winter results on this mix. Well, the rods are finally out and I'm feeling a little bit more confident now since I've moved from that other swim. We saw a few fish around here this morning and I've put a bit of bait out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight and tomorrow morning, and fingers crossed we're going to catch one. But it's been a bit of a rush because we turned up late yesterday and there was only a few hours before we could get the rods out, and I sort of put them single choddies out and fish I saw. But we didn't really talk a lot about the lake. Now, the lake is a small lake, it's intimate, reed lined, and it used to be a stock pond for all the other lakes on the complex. So no one really knows what's in here. We've seen some nice fish cruising around and jumping around and that, but with these small type of intimate lakes like that, you can suffer from the old small lake syndrome. I saw it yesterday when I put my rods out. After I put them out, one cast, done. And I didn't put no bait out, no messing around, disturbing the swims. The fish were there. They did the off straight away. These little lakes, they're so in tune with their environment that you've got to be really stealthy. And even then, even yesterday I was stealthy, little 1 ounce sleds, but they still melted away to this area here. So we've got them all done, all early, a bit of bait out there, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully catching 1 or 2 tonight. And those rods are going to stay out there now till tomorrow. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're going to have proper dinner tonight, mate. Well, good morning, and it's a much better morning than it was yesterday. We've managed to catch one. It's not going to break any records for weight, but it's a cool dude, really nice, fully scaled, typical of the Woolpack fish out of one of these lakes. Just on first light, left-hand rod was away. That move round, that's what I see him showing that morning and through the night. It's made that move really worthwhile, the effort of coming round and that. So I put the rod back out just before first light again. I'm going to get her out, put some water on her, hoist her up, and you can see this little cool dude. Right, here we go. Look at this little cool dude. As I said before, not the biggest fish in the world, but what a little stunner. Really made up the catch this morning. And it just shows you, we used a little Northern Special, little little pink topper, little mini Northern Special, and even at this time of the year, they can single out the fish. That little bit of sight, that little bit of colour can often produce a fish when all else fails. You can nick one. So look at her, or him maybe. What a beautiful fish, and worth coming for our little trip to Woolpack Lake for.